Good afternoon, Chad.
How's it going, Neal?
Well, it's going very well now. I was kind of laid up for a little bit. How about you?
Been busy. We got out of a little bit of a slow week, crazy week, Derby weeks behind us, but things are going okay, my friend.
Nice. It's wild. Well, our guests are my two favorite people today.
I like those guys too.
Me too. So let's run the theme and then get into it.
Recorded live from Louisville, it's Talk About Town, the Louisville podcast. And now, your hosts, Neal Chad and Chad Hennessey.
Hey, Ron White here. I'm nowhere to be found. You're listening to Talk About Town, like I give a...
Okay, we're here this afternoon. It is just the two of us today, and it's actually by design.
That's right.
We had talked about doing this even earlier, but just kind of get to know your hosts, see the history and what's happening, and just, talk about us for a minute.
I like it. Isn't that a show? That's This Is Us. So this is the This Is Us episode, right? Well, I guess this is our 9th recording together, if I'm not mistaken. And
I believe so.
I guess not by purpose, but by circumstance. Unfortunately, a little bit of a gap between our last episode today. And, yeah, I agreed, Neal. I thought this was a really good time to, even though we've known each other a long time, but to let our followers and listeners maybe learn a little bit more about yourself and obviously about what I do, who I am.
Yeah, true. I had knee surgery about a month ago, and so I was not, I was a little loopy there for a couple weeks and then not getting around so well, but I'm actually doing really good now. I'm basically Darth Vader now, though.
You're like the $6 million man, right?
That's right. I should have got him to put some bionics or something in there.
Well, congratulations. As I walked in today, you said you graduated from PT school, so you're done with the hard part, I suppose.
Yeah, it's basically building strength now.
Awesome. Congratulations.
So, thanks. And it'll be good for the summer. I was really struggling with just getting around. We got a lot of fun stuff planned for the summer, so I'm feeling much better about it now.
It sounds like you timed it well.
I think so. I was maybe going to put it off till like winter, but I'm glad I didn't. So
good. And that's behind you. No, and so many people that know me know with how busy I've been, or am, I should say, every day with my kids' lives and my lives. My son, who was just telling you, will be officially a Trinity High School graduate this upcoming Sunday. So what is that, about 5 days from now? So needless to say, he's a baseball player. I'm trying to take it all in. They have been playing nearly like 5 to 6 games a week, and I love it, but it's a lot. So needless to say, the last couple of weeks have been a little busy, and on top of that, I have 3 other children and a job. So,
nothing else. Yeah, I got 3 kiddos, a job and a side hustle, the show, a wife. You have that as well. It's a lot to keep up with. My side hustle sponsored a conference for 2 days last week. So those were almost like just cut off from the world. You're just at the conference.
Where was it at?
In Louisville.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But it was, I don't know. It made the rest of the time that week really busy. And then the weekend was busy with kids. And earlier today on a Monday was like almost just recouping time.
Neal, you're a lot like myself, and I know a lot of people out there too. I want to give everything that I do, or people for that matter, whether it be clients, whether it be friends, family. You want to give them all your attention and the best you got. I find that's one of the time management, of course, is just so huge with any business. But as I've gotten older, I think the best you can maintain your calendar, your schedule, and really yourself. You may only be able to give a certain person or individual 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15. But as long as you can give them quality time, I find that to be pretty impactful. And I've tried to tell my kids that too. There's only so much time in a day. We're given 24 hours a day. That's it. Nobody gets any more, no less.
Um, I try to, if I'm engaging with someone, stay off my phone, that kind of thing. And it's an active thing you've got to do all the time. It's not, it's easy to just, someone's talking, just, oh, I'm going to scroll Twitter or whatever.
And it's not just the youth of America. They might be a little bit worse than us middle-aged men. But I mean, I find myself, I'll fuss at my kids, but I'm picking up my phone as well. So yeah, it is nice to try to just lay off of it, and just give total time to whoever you're going to be with at that time. But so yeah, let's learn a little bit about Neal Cox.
All right. Well,
tell me what you do for a living there.
Okay.
Neal.
Well, my day job is that I'm a realtor, do a decent amount of business, and I try to be everywhere everyone is, be easy to be found. I do a lot of marketing on Facebook, which is fun, and that is backed with a company that helps me run all that and put it together. And it's one of the best companies that I've ever been associated with. It's really cool. Platform marketing for those who are curious. 2019, Malachi and I started the Talk About Town podcast, and really it was funny. It was it was like, okay, we'll talk about real estate. Everyone will listen to it, and then we'll get leads from that. And we fairly quickly realized that no one wants to listen to a real estate podcast. So we started to pivot to just culture. And now 3 years later, when it's kind of resurrected with Chad as my co-host, I think it fills a space that was disappearing. Yeah, so, I don't know many people who watch TV anymore, broadcast television. And, a lot of people get their news from social media or just the internet in general. And a lot of that is doom scrolling.
It's all negative.
It is.
Or a lot.
It is. And, if you're watching, Good Morning Kentuckiana, they're going to have positive stories, a lot of those. But no one's watching that now. So in the digital space, I think a gap exists for fun, interesting local stories, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and we're having a lot of fun. And of course, Neal, I've thanked you. I was lucky enough to be a guest twice, I think, in the first 48, 49 episodes that you had with Talk About Town 1.0, and just had a blast with it. Really did. Was proud to sponsor it for a few months. And, what I do for a living, obviously my day job, is I am an independent insurance agent, proud partner of InsureMax. We just moved. Last 18 years, we've been over in Stony Brook area, over off Greenway, off Hurstbourne, and on April the 1st, and that's been also something that's taken a lot of time here recently, we moved to the Shelby campus area. There's a little brand new office park back there that's right there at the Hurstbourne and Shelbyville Road crossing. We're in the Bright Spring building.
I'm still supposed to come over there and check out your new digs.
We're going to have it done. We're hoping to have an open house here soon. We wanted to get past Derby as well. But, the insurance world is crazy. It's competitive as can be. I do truly play in all fields. I like to say all four corners of insurance. Probably my specialty, my bread and butter for the majority of my career has been personal insurance, which is auto and homeowners. But I have got a big hand in life insurance. Commercial insurance is really where I'm striving, and that's as I show up to work every day, that's what I'm looking for, trying to build out on. But that being said, my biggest commission cases are actually benefits, group benefits. But I just have a partner that I bring in to help me close on those.
Really?
Yeah.
Benefits like your package of disability and things like that.
Health insurance really is what it is.
Okay.
Group health insurance. So, if you've got however many employees, we really try to strive for those that are about 10 or more. And, hey, I'd like to come work for your company. Do you have any benefits? Well, that's what we sell. Dental, vision, your basic Anthem, Humana health insurance, life insurance that comes along with that too. But, yeah,
okay,
it's the fun world.
So, fun fact is that Chad has been my personal insurance agent for 20 years.
I take a lot of pride in that, Neal. I really do. And let alone the agent-client relationship that we have, it really has blossomed into a true friendship.
Absolutely.
And way before this even podcast started, or even before I ever guested on your podcast 2 or 3 years ago. And that's something that was ingrained in me by my dad, plus his partners, a guy by the name of Marvin Smith and his brother Brent Smith, who unfortunately is no longer with us. But the three of them taught me in the first couple of weeks in the business that to really maintain is to develop the relationship. You can always have that Rolodex, and somebody's like, oh, hey, Chad, he's my car insurance agent, great guy. Awesome. And I've got a lot of clients like that, and I appreciate them. But to really lock it in and have a 18 to 20-year relationship like we do, Neal, is to kind of go over that line and develop a trust, but also a friendship, a true relationship. And that's what I try to do.
Well, it's paramount because, so many people want to get on online insurance, or even, I'm just going to go through Zillow for real estate, that kind of things. You can't automate customer service like that.
And I tell people all the time, I say, truly, this is not like to be a commercial, but I can tell any of my clients that if you wanted to open up, well, there aren't really phone books anymore,
right.
But if you wanted to get on Google and call 10 to 15 different companies, yeah, you're going to beat my prices, but I always promise competitive proposals. We're going to be right there, but not everybody's going to pick up the phone when you call on a Sunday afternoon you've had a car wreck, or if it's on a holiday and you forgot that you're going to be picking up a new vehicle and you didn't have your auto ID card. It's a personal touch that we can provide. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, there's nothing better than that. The lender that I send a lot of folks to, same thing. That's why, because we're about to put in an offer and we need an updated letter, and it's Sunday at 7.
It happens all the time with so many different industries, is that you think you've got, A to Z lined up, A, B, C, get to the table, or you're getting near that finish line. You always forget that something was left off from one party or another. I think just availability and response is huge, and that's something that I know myself and my agency take a lot of great pride in.
Yeah, and you do good. I know one time, it was, probably a decade ago, I think, what's the veteran insurance place?
USAA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like trying to get me to come over there, and I sent something, and as soon as Chad, I think, got even wind of it, he's like, "Oh, I'm coming," and he takes care of you. A lot of people, you'll see those Facebook posts. Hey, I'm with State Farm. What's better? And the answer is it depends.
It depends, and again, I never say ill about any competition, whether it be a huge direct writer like a State Farm or an Allstate, or even local independents. No matter if it's commercially, personally, whatever. Competition is great. There are many wonderful, just like there's many wonderful realtors out there, many wonderful mortgage companies. Just going down the list of the different businesses out there. It's really just developing your book of business, taking care of it, and then growing, at a pace that you can really form those relationships.
Yeah, and being the right person for that. There are people that want their real estate agent to wear a suit and do all that stuff. That's not me. I can refer you to somebody that's like that, though.
It's crazy. In 22 years, kind of dating myself, from day one, what everybody wore in the office Monday through Friday to what they're wearing right now. And there's no doubt that COVID had a part of it. But they always say dress like one step up from who you're going to go call upon. Neal, I'll go into offices, which you would think that are, formal offices, and you'll see people in sandals, T-shirts, and shorts. And they probably used to wear button-ups.
It's not a thing anymore. Even my dad, who is, obviously a generation older than me, you saw him get more casual as the years went by, and now, it's going to be like swimwear at work or whatever.
You got to draw a line somewhere, I guess. But no, and I think that's also the huge wave too of working from home, remoteness, flexibility. It's huge, and like right now, we're outwardly reaching for employment for employees. So we've got multiple departments that we're trying to hire for, and flexibility It's huge.
What are you hiring for? This, I mean,
That's right.
You know, somebody
Yes,
might hear this.
if anybody may hear this, we're looking for a personal lines account manager, which would be somebody in theory would have a little bit of experience servicing auto, homeowners, boats, motorcycles. Do not have to necessarily have an independent insurance side of experience. It would be nice if you had some insurance experience.
Do they need to be licensed?
You probably need to be licensed.
Yep.
If not, if someone doesn't, if they're coming from a different background, we would work with them to get licensed.
Nice.
We're also looking for an internal sales position for personal lines. We're also looking for possibly 2 commercial lines account managers, which would be dealing with workers' comp, general liability, commercial fleet, auto, so yeah, so we are hiring. There's no doubt about it.
That's wild. I have a friend who's an agent that I think just passed some kind of insurance. He's a real estate agent and just passed an insurance something.
Probably licensing.
Yeah.
It's huge. And you see a lot of people will do that. They'll get multiple industries crossed into one individual even.
Right.
I've seen mortgage professionals get their insurance license. I've seen real estate get agents and specialists get their insurance license. You figure, hey, if I'm going to sell this house, I might as well try to round it out with wherever they may be placing their business.
That's right. I think for me, I thought about it. I had someone reach out to me, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I considered it, but it was like, I can't do everything.
I would never frown or tell somebody not to get it because it is a wonderful industry to get in. Just in all transparency, I'm 45 years old. I'll be 46 in a couple of months. It would be really tough for somebody to walk into it with no book of business and no experience unless you knew that there was going to be a windfall coming your way. Because it is one where, for instance, my mentors told me this on day one, accounts that I wrote way back in 2000, I'm still getting paid on. So it's a marathon, not a sprint of an occupation.
Right. And same for me. Louisville, I think there's something in the neighborhood of 6,000 real estate agents. And you can do the math. Right now, currently, there's probably 1,250 listings. So there are people out there that it's not their full-time job. It's not, putting food on the table. And it's tough to get started. It really is. And grow it over time and take care of your people and you'll do well. Reputation
will lead to referrals. Absolutely.
Yep, definitely.
Now, you made a comment a minute ago, Neal, and I've told you this, I think, on these podcasts, but even privately, your social media presence has been inspiring, I guess, is one thing, but also, no, really, it's something that I admire, and I've tried to mimic in my own way. I just think there is such a new medium, like you said, whether it be through podcast, whether it be through social media, all the way down to just texting. I mean, there is an art form to it, from a pure different individuals want to be communicated with in different ways.
I've done real estate deals where almost the entire thing was text.
It's crazy because I feel like being 20-year veteran, I've still got a long way to go in my career, but I also can tell you stories. Now I sound like an old man from the past 20, but you see it on both ways. So I can see what tomorrow's going to bring, but it is hard to let go of yesterday as well. But it's funny how you made a comment. And my kids, about watching TV, they do not watch TV. Netflix or,
Disney Plus
or what else, Hulu or whatever may be out there. But in regards to just the days, it doesn't seem that long ago of watching like The Office or Seinfeld or, Friends or whatever, where you had to wait for every Thursday at 8 o'clock to watch.
A certain time.
It's over.
It is over.
Yeah.
It really is. I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and they were talking about, I'm into comedy and comedians and people just making their career on the internet and doing very well that way.
So my daughter's boyfriend was telling me yesterday, I guess there was maybe a boxing card on Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't tell you who boxed,
Same.
but I'm thinking, obviously, I know Tyson's well past his, doesn't do it anymore, but I'm like, hey, who's boxing? And he goes, well, it was a bunch of YouTube
Is probably
celebrities or
Jake
whatever.
Paul or something
I've
like
heard
that.
of Jake Paul, and I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, it's all these just normal guys or whatever, individuals that have made their name via social media on YouTube, and I guess they put it together onto a pay-per-view or something.
That's wild. Do you know Mr. Beast?
I've heard of, yes.
my goodness, that guy, um, he just started making videos, and it it was his obsession and drive is what did it. You know, you can't just, okay, I'm going to make a video and make a huge channel. It takes a ton of work, but it's all organic.
It's organic, and you almost make yourself to be an expert, whether you really are or not.
Yep.
But to the viewers or listeners or whatever his eyes, that comfort level in an individual, no matter the topic, like you said, the beast. I mean, but it can't be sporadic. It has to be systematic and constant.
Yeah, and that's the same for me. I'm not saying I'm Mr. Beast by any means, but I do a lot of online marketing, and I try to not make things look like a polished ad that you're just, oh, what is this? Add value with it. Hey, here's something cool in Louisville that I found. I want to share it with you. Or here's an amazing listing. Look at this kitchen, that kind of stuff.
So I was talking, had an opportunity to write an individual, called me today, it was referred, moving up from Clearwater, Florida. And I just said, wow, you're moving up to Louisville, Kentucky from Florida. And she said, I've had family that's lived here before. She goes, I want all 4 seasons. Traditionally, you'll get that every year. But she's like, Louisville is so diverse and offers so much. Here I am thinking, man, to live in Clearwater would be paradise. And one comment she goes, well, it's hard to live your life where everybody else vacations. But she goes, but Louisville was a city that I identified and I'd been to before. And she's like, so much is offered here from the arts, she's talked about the restaurants and the culture. We live in a really cool city. I think it's a gem. I mean, of course, this is what we know, but from a national scale, I don't know if it's quite appreciated to really what it is.
I don't think it is. I think it's yet to be discovered, and I don't necessarily want it to be overly discovered because I like being able to get anywhere in 20 minutes. But I think that people don't know how good it is.
I totally agree. And I've had, dreams of, NBA teams or huge sporting events and concerts. I think we get enough, especially the music scene here has really grown. You would get the big show that rolled in, on a massive tour. Now it seems like we're getting nearly every tour or most every tour.
Yeah, and we have a few of our own thing, like Forecastle and those things.
Absolutely. We talked about it, I think, when we had Jeremy Jarvie on with Lou City. Mm-hmm. They just had their first concert, Derby night. It was Janet Jackson and New Edition. So that's kind of cool that hopefully
I didn't even realize that.
It wasn't, well, that's a whole nother conversation, but I was not there.
Yeah.
I did talk to a few people that went, said the venue at the Lynn Family Soccer Stadium was an amazing concert venue, and I think it would be. So I imagine we'll start getting more shows.
I bet we will. I had some clients that moved up from Nashville recently, and their dollars went further, and you're not giving up that much. I mean, the Titans, but, who cares about the Titans?
You're closer to the Colts.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point. What it costs to live, the dollar here is a lot more valuable than like Nashville, especially Nashville, but Indianapolis, Cincinnati, obviously Chicago's, Atlanta's, and you're not really giving up that much. And we've always said this too. You're only a couple hour drive, 2 hour drive at the most from really anything you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's wild. I was in a conference, and they were talking about the trend will be that people will start going from cities to smaller towns around cities sooner. Remote work is one thing that's going to drive that, because people, if you can get around Louisville in 20, 30 minutes anywhere, well, if you're in a small town and can get anywhere in 5 minutes, there's these personal helicopters that fit in a parking space, and they're autonomous, and they're only $90,000 right now, and they haven't even produced them at scale yet.
That's pretty wild to think about what could be. You'd be just driving to work, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of personal helicopters that'll park right next to you. Yep. Hi, Bill. How are you? Oh,
yeah.
Good flight in. Maybe.
Although I'm somewhat concerned with our country's economy and culture right now, more so than I ever have been too.
It's it's a wild time. I mean, to come off, which has now been 2 years. We're way past 2 years now. It was March of 2020 and COVID, so here we are at the middle of April or May, I should say. So you're 26 months past. None of us knew how to spell COVID, and I'm not just going to blame it on COVID-19, but really just everything that has occurred in the last 24, 36 months. Some very exciting, a lot of good, but a lot of ugly has come out of it as well.
It has, and it I don't know, it feels different than just the same stuff, and the velocity of, the frequency of these huge things. You think of like people, I guess they're the Gen Zs, like not the millennials, but even younger than them, have just had crisis after crisis go on.
It almost becomes, I hate to say it, but they're almost numb to it, where it's, I mean, they don't even blink twice at some of the things that are going on in the world. And, we're just locally. It's funny. We could go down this well quite crazy in different angles that society is kind of taken. I just hope that, and I tell my kids as well, that I hope they're good people, not one religion or another. I don't think you can take a hammer and pound beliefs into one or another.
Right.
My daughter and I, we conflict on quite a few political beliefs, let's just say, but I love her, I respect her. And as long as you're a good person and you're fair to everybody and respect everybody,
Yep,
and try to be as accepting as possible to everybody, I think the world's going to be a better place.
I think it will be as well. And, I think just in the past 2 years, even I've gone on a journey of my own beliefs in a much faster way than is normal, I think. Looking at just the way different cities or counties or states or everything handled all the different things that have gone on recently, it's made me think a lot about just my own beliefs.
Well, it's funny you should say that, and I'm proud of you for that, actually, because I've actually a couple of friends have challenged me to outwardly think, and actions have consequences. You know how certain areas, states, cities, whatever it may be, the decisions they made and where they are today, now that we are 26, 27 months outside of or involved
into
in COVID.
2 weeks to flatten the curve, right?
Yeah. Well, we're still waiting for that curve to be flattened, of course. But no, I say this all the time. This is not a conversation to be had about race or political, economic. But I believe that, well, Neal, I mean, you and I are roughly about the same age.
Yeah, I'm 45 as well.
I know that my children are going to be better people with how about this? My kids will probably be better, well-rounded individuals than I am. I would like to think, and my parents are wonderful people. I think I was just, more open-minded than what my folks are, let alone, and God rest their souls, I had some wonderful grandparents that were just precious and, very influential on who I am, but they had some old-fashioned beliefs that wouldn't float well today, too. So
mine as well. But I think our kids, they'll have their own frontiers when they're older. But the things that 45-year-old middle-aged guys think about and wrestle with, our kids are like, it's whatever.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. My son's graduating high school, so he's 18 years old. Fast forward, for my math, 25 years-ish and 26 years or so when he's about our age. Who knows what they're going to be tackling, what's going to be going on. Hopefully we'll be here to watch it.
Yeah, I hope so. I just heard today about how Yellowstone has a massive explosion once every 600 to 800,000 years, and the whole thing's a volcano. It's like, oh,
man, that may cause havoc on their production of season 5 or whatever is coming up.
Yeah, it really might.
Who knows? So one thing that I've always wanted to ask you about, we have a commonality. We both love music.
Absolutely.
How about this? What's your top 3 concerts you've ever been to?
Okay. My favorite, I saw Tool which is my absolute favorite band. Here, I'll show on the video. I have a half sleeve of a huge tattoo that is Tool inspired, but I saw them in 1996 in Cincinnati at like an all ages club, no seats, general admission, and that
Off the charts.
yeah, that could never happen today. My first ever concert, Guns N' Roses in Lexington with Skid Row, and then I think maybe number 3, it's got an asterisk. I saw Alice in Chains, but it was post Lane, so it's not the same.
I've seen Alice in Chains with, I think it's William Duvall.
Yes.
Twice. Yeah, I missed out on a Hot Tub Time Machine. I would love to go see a show with Lane Staley, but it's funny you say, all right, my favorite, probably the best show I've ever been to, small venues are just,
Yes.
We have just a couple of great venues here in town, but the Palace, you can't beat it.
No.
So I went and saw Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh,
I believe it was 02.
Mm-hmm.
They had already started their slide where they weren't playing arenas,
Yep.
but they were still, Scott Weiland was still alive, kicking, and probably on the verge of another rehab assignment, but incredible. It was we were in the bottom floor of the Palace and grabbed his megaphone and he said, "Everybody get up to the front." And probably
wow.
a security issue, but it was, it was amazing. Probably the best show I've ever seen. My music kind of array is all over the place. I've seen Metallica 11 times.
Oh, I've seen them one time.
And it is an experience. I've also seen Jimmy Buffett 10 times.
Oh.
So Jimmy Buffett on one hand, Metallica on another. I love both of them almost equally.
What's funny, my mom, a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, so it's part of my growing up as Jimmy
Absolutely.
Buffett as well. The last time I did karaoke, I did Margaritaville.
Wasting away. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I play as well, but I'm a hobbyist now, and a long time ago I was a lot more serious about it.
That is something which I guess you're never too old to learn. I like to learn to ski. I don't know how to ski, but my son is pretty decent. He took an elective at Trinity and is pretty darn good with the guitar. My youngest brother was self-taught and is really good too. Now, I'm not saying they could go play a coffee shop, maybe, possibly.
Right.
But I have a lot of admiration for anybody that can play an instrument. I think it's an amazing skill.
It is absolutely fun. You're as good as how much you put into it. And obviously some people are more naturally gifted than others, but it's like frustrating now because I'm limited. I don't have bandmates. I don't have 8 hours to sit around and do a composition or something. So I'm back to just being kind of a hobbyist, but it's still enjoyable and I like it.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I mean, not to dive into a little bit more, but what's your what kind of movies you like to see?
I do not see a ton of movies. There's so many movies have gone by where if you mention it and I say I've never seen it, you're like, what? But I mostly like comedies. Or like I love the classic gangster movie Goodfellas.
Can't beat 'em.
We're on 2 of 3. We need to watch the third now. My wife and I have been watching the Godfather series.
They're great.
And I like I don't know, I like introspective, like I'm not just a action hero movie guy.
I do love movies. That was my my college job was great. I worked at like an old-fashioned mom and pop video store. I was in a fraternity down in Western Kentucky, and my first semester, my big brother was like, "Hey, we're looking for somebody to work 12 hours a week. You do your homework, and you pop in a movie, and you check people out." It was great. So
That's awesome.
I am a movie buff. I think, and this goes against popular opinion, I think Godfather Part 3 is so underrated. 1 and 2 are absolutely all-time great movies.
Yep. I've seen 1 and 2 that like I'm rewatching those. I don't think I've seen the third.
Let me know once you see it. It was still nominated for Best Picture.
Okay.
So it was one of the best movies that year. No, it is not 1 and 2, but it still is a great. I'm a big fan of Part 3. I was really hoping there was a lot of rumors that they may do a 4th probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But the Godfathers are fantastic.
It really is. And I mean, what the second one, or is it both? Which one? One of them has an intermission. Maybe it's number 2.
Well, I think back in the day when they hit the movie theaters back in the 70s, they both may have had intermissions. But there's actually, with The Godfather, I think there is that they've interweaved in chronological order that are parts of part 2 over part 1. And it's called the Godfather Saga, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, so
It
is it
starts
just
off
the
like
first
with
2
De
or-
Niro, for
Yeah.
instance. Yeah.
And then I remember having Pacino and De Niro in the same scene was a big deal, and I think that happened with Heat.
Heat is that's a movie that I wouldn't mind checking out again. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
There's a podcast that I like called The Rewatchables,
I listen.
and it's about rewatchable movies, and they must be our age because most of the movies are things that I am pretty familiar with.
It's a great podcast. Bill Simmons, my good buddy Andrew Carlson, told me about it about 2 to 3 years ago. And I don't listen to every one, but if I see they're hitting a movie
Same,
it's great.
but they're obsessed with Heat.
Yes, Heat
I
is
think
good.
they've done like 3 episodes on it.
On Heat. I know it is a good one. That's a classic. The cool thing is, and you're like me too, as your kids get older, is especially I have my 2 oldest ones especially. I can show them movies that I loved, not only as a kid but as a young adult, and watching them experience it for the first time is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I tried that with the original Star Wars, like Episode 4, and it bored them to tears. However,
Those are fighting words.
yeah, my 2 youngest have gotten into horror movies lately, and I have never been into them. So we're kind of discovering all of the classics together, and that's fun.
That is a genre that at 45 years old still, I'm not a. My daughter, my 20-year-old daughter, loves horror movies, and I watched the Conjuring trilogy with her.
Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, that's they scare me. I'll just
Well,
say that.
The other night we watched the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, it's a classic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And it's the first time that they were ever visibly like scared afterwards.
very unique movie.
And we bought a scratch-off horror movie poster that we're working through that poster now together. It's pretty fun.
Oh, that's fun, man. That's fun.
Yep. I'm not a huge horror fan, and I don't get scared. I enjoy spending that time with them.
Oh, that's what it's about.
Yep. And watching it.
I will say, just a last part of the movies. Yeah, I love Star Wars. My kids and I, it's kind of cool. And I don't know how long this is going to last, but we love the MCU movies.
Mhm.
We actually saw Doctor Strange 2 yesterday, and it's been out for about 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
So kind of the cool thing is, my kids knew that my daughter was going to come home from college.
Mhm.
My son would not go watch it with his friends
Oh,
because
that's
we
cool.
like to go see it together. And I guess the next one coming out is Thor here in a couple weeks.
Okay.
They're mindless, but they're great entertainment. They're fun.
I think so. I'm not one who has seen them all, but I've seen some of them.
Sure.
They're good movies. They're fun.
They're fun.
I'm not invested like some people are, but with Star Wars, I'm hugely invested.
I think that's our generation. I mean, if you were born in the mid to late 70s, very early 80s, yeah, you're a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I think we recorded it from like Showtime on a Betamax VCR, and I used to watch those movies when I was really little, like every day.
I love it.
It's like culture for me, which is funny. My wife is more Harry Potter than Star Wars.
Harry Potter is really cool because my kids are old enough, I've been able to watch them experience it for the first time like I did. I was introduced to Harry Potter as they were introduced to Harry Potter. I think I've said before, my third daughter, my third child, she's almost 13. She's read the entire series, but just got captivated by it. She's kind of etching out of it, but she loved it. Yeah, we watched all the movies. She read all the books, so she knew all the lore.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, these are cool movies, but
Yeah,
they're fun.
I would like watch parts here and there and like out of order when my wife or daughter were watching it, but as I watch more, I'm like, okay, there's something here. This is pretty decent.
It's great storytelling, that's for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Not as good as Star Wars, but that's okay. Well, should we kind of wrap this session up?
Yeah, I've enjoyed this, Neal.
I have too. Chad and I, we talk frequently, but not for 40 minutes at a time. So it's kind of cool just to do this one. We've got some pretty interesting guests that we're working on lining up. We're not gonna let the cat.
No
out of the bag
spoilers
yet.
to talk about movies. Yeah, no spoilers coming up. Honestly, though, we appreciate everybody that's giving us feedback. We'll take positive feedback. We'll take negative feedback. And if you think there's a guest out there that would be great for this, we're definitely open to promoting individuals, charities, things going on in Louisville. Don't hesitate to reach out to Neal or myself with suggestions.
I think my criteria that I keep in mind is an interesting story that has a Louisville connection.
That's it.
And if anyone knows Katy Perry, who is in town right now or in the area on kind of a longer term basis, I believe, get her to the studio. We want to interview her.
We'll get you a coffee mug.
We absolutely will.
Thanks, Neal.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. You can reach us at neal@talkabouttownky.com. Neal is a realtor with Judah Real Estate Group. Chad is a partner at Insura Max. You can reach him at chadh@insuramax.com. Check us out on the web at talkabouttownky.com. Go Cards!